This is Ken Pyle with VOD TV at the Parks Associates Smart Energy Summit. We're with Ralph Brown of Cable Labs. Ralph, you're going to be talking a little bit about set-top boxes and some of the initiatives to kind of reduce power. So why don't you give us a preview, please?
Sure. Well, the cable industry has been working on reducing the energy consumption of set-top boxes for quite some time. If you look over the past 10 years across the different categories of set-top boxes, DVRs, HD set-top boxes, even the new digital transport adapters, DTAs, they all have been, on average, about 50% reduction in their active mode of energy consumption. And the big thing that was announced this past year in November was a cable industry initiative to further reduce the energy consumption of set-top boxes. There is a demonstration of what we're calling Lite sleep, which is a lower power mode of operation available with the current generation of set-top boxes that are being purchased and being deployed today, which will substantially reduce the standby power consumption of these set-top boxes. And then further, we have an initiative to do some specification work on what we're calling deep sleep, which is a very low power mode of standby operation, in which the box can go down even more substantially than the light sleep mode, maintain its basic functionality without consuming that kind of energy, as well as driving down the energy consumption of the active mode of operation as well. So we're looking at power scaling modes of operation and things of that nature. So we should be seeing that work come to fruition this year, and with specification work done at Cable Labs coming out at the end of 2012.
Do you see, would you be sacrificing anything like turn on time or things like that?
So the objective is to make sure that the consumer experience is not negatively impacted by any of this. One of the big issues we have, as many people will find, if they unplug their set-top box, when they plug it back in, the time it takes to regenerate the guide data and retrieve it from the network can take a very long time. Mm-hmm. And that's just not a very good user experience. So everything we would do is to ensure that that experience is not the case, that guide data would be readily available in seconds, not many minutes. That all of the services would be fully available. You wouldn't lose any of your entitlements to the pay channels that you're getting or you're subscribing to. You won't lose software updates if those occur. You won't lose recording of programs you may have scheduled. So all those things are part of the user experience that we want to ensure the consumer still has and works well, but that the overall energy that's necessary to achieve that is much, much less. That's really going to take another generation of silicon, which is part of what we're working on now. So.
What about the trend, and maybe I don't know if it's a trend, but there's some operators who are looking at putting in kind of these residential gateways that do a lot of functionality, and then maybe sub-10 smaller boxes. Mm-hmm. Can you put those in sleep mode, or are they going to be on all the time, basically?
Right. So there are, I think one of the big drivers for those gateway types of devices is not only reaching other television sets, but other IP-connected devices, whether it's tablets, cell phones, PCs, you name it, game consoles, Blu-ray players. All these devices are now connected, and the cable operators will want to serve them with the content that the consumer is subscribing for. So we'll see a broad variety of those kinds of devices being connected. If you were at CES this year, you would have seen a fair number of those. Samsung in particular was showing a Time Warner Cable user interface and Time Warner Cable content. There was a Comcast user interface and Comcast content, and Verizon as well. So that direct connection to those connected TVs or connected devices is one way to reduce that. So there's no set-top box, right? There will be TVs that are not smart or not connected. No offense to those TVs, of course, but they will need some sort of small adapter device, and those will definitely be much lower power and will again display the necessary type of behavior to go into a even lower power of standby.
Well, the initiative, is it also looking at the residential gateway itself too, as part of that?
So initially we're looking at, the focus is initially on set-top boxes. Okay. We expect that those kinds of devices, as they are developed, will in fact be ones we need to address. But again, I think the big player here initially is the focus on the set-top box.
And do you see, with some of the current ones out there, you kind of hinted at this, is there maybe firmware upgrades and things like that might be able to take existing ones and help?
Actually, a number of our operators have deployed light sleep modes of operation already, so it's in the field. Others are in development, and excuse me, expect to have that out, that deployed in the field in September. And they will be rolling it out to the boxes that are capable of taking that software over time. So you should see that already, and as I said, evolving over the remainder of the year.
Well, it's significant, and it's significant for consumers looking to save a few bucks.
That's correct.
So.
Yes.
Ralph, I appreciate your time explaining the initiative.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.